You're creating a friction because of which it is getting converted as heat. Then you keep it upon your cheeks. That means the heat is getting generated. There is transformation of one energy to the other energy, wherein it is not deleted. That is, it's not destroyed. So whatever chemical reaction is taking place over here, as a result, all the chemical energy is getting transformed itself to a light or a heat energy. Hello everyone, I'm Vrinda, Faculty of Physics, welcoming you all to session 4 of chapter 6, and the chapter name is Work, Energy and Power. So in today's class, let us see regarding the energy, power, that is conservation of energy. So as you all know, you have studied the various forms of energy. You know, various forms of energy are like electrical energy, chemical energy and so on. So here, the law of conservation of energy. So in physical world, that is our first chapter, we talked regarding conservation laws, law of conservation, right? Out of which one of them was law of conservation of energy. And that law of conservation of energy is being studied here. So now, first let us see what is meant by energy. Energy is something which is used to do work. That is, energy is the capacity to do work. What is that energy? It is the capacity to do work. If there is a presence of energy, then you can say that the work is done, right? So here, conservation of energy. Suppose you consider potential energy as well as kinetic energy, that is mechanical energy. Now, suppose if you consider mechanical energy, and that mechanical energy can be of two types, that is potential energy and kinetic energy. Again, I'm coming back to the waterfall example. The water at the top of the falls, before it undergoes action, it has certain stored energy. That stored energy is nothing but potential energy. Potential energy is the stored energy. So this is the height and this is the water which is flowing. So this is the basement. So now the water is falling from top to bottom. So at this part, the whatever the energy is stored is known as potential energy. The energy stored at this part is said to be the potential energy, and as the water is flowing downwards, it is getting transferred itself to kinetic energy. That is, potential energy is getting transformed itself to a kinetic energy. So that transformation is there from potential to kinetic. Here, when the water is placed, it is potential energy which is changing itself to a kinetic energy. And at the bottom, the kinetic energy is said to be maximum and there is no potential energy there at the base. So the statement which you can give here is, this energy is getting transformed itself to this energy, that is kinetic energy. Potential energy getting transformed to kinetic energy. Is there any loss of energy? No, there is no loss of energy. The energy which exists is not created, it is not even destroyed. There is no creation or destruction in this case. That is, complete potential energy is converted to kinetic energy over here. So the statement for law of conservation of energy can be, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form to the other form. It changes its form, but it can be never be created or destroyed. So that is all about the law of conservation of energy. It comes under principle of conservation of energy. So next is, now let us study the various forms of energy which we see in our daily life. So here you have got your heat energy as well as chemical energy, which I am dealing with right now. So heat energy, how do you get the heat energy? Suppose it's a winter. Now it is a winter and suppose your body is feeling cold. What do? The first aid, what do you do for you to keep yourself warm is just rub your hands. You don't have your sweaters, scarves or mufflers or anything. No woolen clothes are there with with you. So what is the first thing you do? The first step what you take is just brush your hands, that is rubbing your hands. Once you rub your hands, what happens? There is a heat generated. So rubbing the hands means there is certain friction energy, that is a friction force which has been created. You're creating a friction because of which it is getting converted as heat. Then you keep it upon your cheeks. That means the heat is getting generated. Can you tell that the energy is created over there or it is destroyed? No, there is no creation as well as destruction of that energy over there. It is just transforming from one form to the other. So friction here is being transformed to heat over there. So that is all about the heat energy. Here they are creating a friction by rubbing. So you can see a small smokes over here that's very dim in color. So that is the heat which is generated. So it can be friction is transformed itself as heat energy. Heat energy. Now coming to chemical energy. So chemical energy, the best example what you can give is this bulb is connected to a battery of positive as well as negative. Okay, so bulb is connected to a battery. The battery, it is a combination of n number of cells. So a cell is having certain chemical inside it. So the presence of chemical, when it is connected to a wire and when it is switched on, you get a glow in the bulb. So that is like the chemical energy here is getting converted to heat energy or the light energy. This is all about the chemical energy. So here in this chemical energy, the molecules with certain binding energy engage themselves in a chemical reaction. And here in chemical energy, chemical reaction takes place. And this chemical reaction is just rearranging the atoms or the molecules. Just it is the rearrangement. There is no deletion or there is no addition. There is no creation, no destruction. Just whatever is there, whatever is given to you, it is just rearranged. Such process is known as chemical reaction. What is that chemical reaction? Rearrangement of atoms or molecules. That is all about this chemical energy. So whatever chemical reaction is taking place over here, as a result, all the chemical energy is getting transformed itself to a light or a heat energy. So that is all about your chemical energy. Now let us go to electrical energy. So here you can see there is a electricity. So bulb is switched on by using the wire because it's plugged in. So positive as well as negative charges acts on it. So the charges here plays a very important role. The important role is played by charges. Charges either attract each other or repel each other. So there is a presence of attraction or repulsion of the charges. As a result, we get electrical energy. And the result is seen in this light bulb. So the charges either attract or else it repels, and as a result, we are getting the electrical energy. So here, this is one of the form of electrical energy. So electrical energy here, it is converted to again heat or light energy in this example. And suppose if you consider fans as well as bulbs. So fans rotate. That is, electrical energy is converted to the mechanical energy. So there, the rotation of the fan is being taking place. Similarly here, the electrical energy is converted to heat or light energy because the bulb is glowing. So that is the example for conversion. That is, there is transformation of one energy to the other energy, wherein it is not deleted. That is, it's not destroyed. Now let us go to equivalence of mass and energy. So here, what is that equivalence? It is maintaining some equality between two components. Now, mass. Mass is the constant for any object. It is the number of molecules or the atoms which is present inside an object. Okay, any system, whichever we consider, the mass is said to be constant. And the equivalence of mass and energy here we are checking. So what is that energy? Energy is a capacity to do work. So now we have to check the relationship between mass as well as energy, which was given by a great physicist, and that is none other than Albert Einstein. So he gave the relation for equivalence of mass as well as energy, and that famous equation or the expression is said to be E is equal to mc square. So energy is equal to mass into square of the velocity of light, wherein your E means it is energy, m is mass, and c is speed of light, that is velocity of light, and the value of c can turn out to be 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. This is the value of velocity of light. C means it is the velocity of light, so its constant value is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Suppose if we have got E is equal to mc square, and now we have to check out for the energy. If suppose the mass which we are considering is in 1 unit, it will be 1 into 3 into 10 raised to 8 the whole square. So our energy will be 3, 2 times is 9. 9 into 10 raised to 8 2s are 16. So into 1 it is 9 into 10 raised to 16 joules. So it is 9 into 10 raised to 16 joules. So this is the energy which is said to be the annual output. So this is the annual output of energy from a large 3000 megavolt power generating station. So this is that energy, annual output of energy. If we consider mass as 1 unit and C the constant value, if you know, you can generate the annual output of the power which is generated from 3000 megavolt power generating station. So that is all about your mass and energy equivalence relation. So this is very important for you to know. E is equal to mc square. Energy is equal to mass times the square of velocity of light. So this equation was given by Albert Einstein. So next let us go to the nuclear energy. So here having the concept of E is equal to mc square, just we gave out the reactions of nuclear reactions, that is fission reaction, fusion reaction, all those things came out in the existence of E is equal to m square, that is an equivalence of mass as well as the energy. So here in this nuclear energy there is enormous amount of energy which is released. So here this is known as power plant, wherein nuclear reaction is taking place. So this place, such kind of a place is visible everywhere. So I hope you have seen these places. So it is like a factory. So here you have got a nuclear power station, and here reactions is being taken place, that is fission reaction which is controlled. So there are two types of nuclear reactions, and they are fission reaction and fusion reaction. Fission as well as fusion. Fission is said to be controlled, whereas fusion is said to be uncontrolled. So we have got controlled reaction and uncontrolled reaction. So when it comes to controlled reaction, here we can control things. It's a man-made buildings. So here when we see this, it's man-made, so something can be controlled, something is in our hands, so it can be controlled, that is fission reaction is being taken place over here. So fusion reactions are the reactions which can be taken place like in sun, stars and all, they undergo fusion reaction. So in fission reaction, it is a process wherein you're splitting the bulk compound into simpler ones. Bulk compound is split into simpler ones, that is under fission. As well as fusion, you're fusing up things. So when it is like fusion, your 4 lighter nuclei fuse themselves to form one hydrogen nucleus. So that is how it is. Here the fusion is taking place. 4 lighter nuclei fusing itself to form one nucleus. So that is all about your fission as well as fusion reaction. Now here you have got 2 types of process in this reaction itself, that is exothermic and endothermic. Nuclear energy. Nuclear energy here, enormous amount of heat is released, enormous amount of heat is absorbed. So here when I came to sun, that is stars undergo this fusion reaction. It is uncontrolled reaction and there is n number of heat which is produced over there, which is very hot. Now let us consider some reaction, the same reactions whatever you do in your chemistry, right? So it is like reactants, further chemical reactions to be undertaken. You want reactants and that reactants combine together to form products. So now if you consider, you have got a reaction, reactants which gives you product. So suppose if the total energy, I'll consider TE, that means it is total energy. Suppose if the total energy of the reactant is more than the product, then you can say this is a exothermic. Because in exothermic condition, exo, so X, you can just consider it as external. There is releasing of heat. Okay, so there is heat which is released. Enormous amount of heat is deleted. That is, it is released. That's why this condition is said to be exothermic. And now when it comes to endothermic, it is total energy of reactants is less when compared to that of products. So here the total energy is more, that means it has gained, so it is endothermic. So this form of an heat absorption is said to be endothermic. So this is all about your nuclear energy. So I hope you're clear with various forms of energy whatever we had studied today, that is chemical energy, heat energy, electrical energy as well as nuclear energy with equivalence of mass as well as energy equation. Now by looking at all these various forms of energy, now let us get the principle of conservation of energy. So here it is the principle of conservation of energy which I had discussed at the beginning of the same session, that is energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can be transformed from one form to the other form. That is all about the statement for the principle of conservation of energy. So in today's class, we have studied regarding various forms of energy, equivalence of mass and energy as well as law of conservation of energy, that the statement we have studied. So let us all meet in our next class with the further topics of the same chapter, that is work, energy and power. Until then, have a good day. Thank you.